Hello and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 7th of June 2017. First of all, a belated happy Father's Day to all the dads. In Denmark it was Father's Day here on Monday, and it was also a public holiday called Pinse. I'm not exactly sure what it's called in English, but I don't really mind what it's called as long as they give us a day off. And so we were out enjoying the countryside around Copenhagen, and my wife and boys took me on a horse-driven cart trip up to a place called Charlottenborg, which is up north of Copenhagen. It was absolutely gorgeous, and there's this massive park, and this is one of the old king's summer houses, and the guy that used to frequent this particular summer house was a bit of a hunter and a ladies' man, and he had a residence, of course, in Copenhagen, Amalienborg it's called. But he used to go hunting, and he used to take his mistresses up to this summer house here. And the funny thing about it is this was the main dining room here, and in the cellar underneath the house, below the house, there was the kitchen. So in the floor here and in the ground floor, there was a big hole in the ground, the same shape of the table. And they would open the floor here, and they would lower the table, the dining table, through the floor so it would go down to the kitchen downstairs. And the people who worked in the kitchen would set the table exactly how it should be, and then they would heist it back up to here, to the dining room here, and then they would close the latch in the ground floor and the first floor. Then people would have their dinner there, which is quite remarkable. Imagine making that happen these days. It's pretty phenomenal. So that little latch door still exists there, and it's pretty phenomenal. And also there was a requirement when this was built and when other architecture was built in the area that the Queen could see the water, which is kind of this way, without seeing any other rooftops. And so this whole area, this lawn here, and all the land that goes down to the seaside, which is pretty close down this bank here, then I mean there's nothing there. I think a train goes past, but that's about it. So she didn't want to view any houses, any rooftops of any houses, or the current Queen, that's at least. Anyway, so it's just a really beautiful area, and we had a super day. And there I am with my wife and my two little Herberts there sitting in the back, and we thought, yeah, we'll do this for 1 hour. We'll sit in this cart for 1 hour. That should be okay. And after about 40 minutes, these two started hammering on each other. But luckily we were nearing the rear end of our trip, so it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Anyway, so happy Father's Day. Okay, today we're going to talk about just a way to set up your charts. I don't think I've ever shown exactly how I set up my charts, so I just wanted to show that now. And as you can see, that it's pretty color coded. And so what I do is I have some of the pairs that I trade on here, and I only have, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 pairs that I follow. But you can see here we have purple, here we have orange, and here we have a red, but some of them are blue. And what does that mean? Well, just to run through kind of a top-down quickly, this is the monthly chart, this is a weekly chart, this is a daily, monthly, weekly, daily. But I have orders in the market on some of these pairs, and the ones that I have an order in the market on, I have put on the 4-hour chart, so I can have a quick glance here and I can see, okay, on this chart, this chart, this chart, this chart, this chart, this chart, and this chart, I have orders in the market. And so this enables me to very quickly look and see which pairs I want to check on. And so I'm looking at the monthly here, the weekly, and the daily, so 3 time frames. And if you look at the configuration of the software, you'll notice actually that there's per default, let me move this stuff over, there are 3 greater period multipliers. So we have the current period, the current plus 1, and the current plus 2. And so these are the 3 time frames that I'm paying attention to. So my entry time frame plus 1, my entry time frame plus 2. Now if you're trading on the smaller time frames, perhaps just shorter term, maybe the daily would be over here. So you'd have a red chart here, then your 4-hour would be the medium term, which would be a blue chart, and your entry time frame would be the white chart or the hourly chart. So your colors would be different. And this is the whole reason I use this color coding, because it enables you to very quickly see what is what. You can see here monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, and this is just nice information. So what I do is I have my charts like so. I have Australian dollar long term, Australian dollar medium term, Australian dollar short term, the British pound long term, British pound medium term, British pound short term, and so on for the euro, dollar CAD, dollar yen, dollar franc, and all of the other ones. And I don't trade all of these, but I've kind of filled out a few of them just so that I could have the configuration of my chart looking like this. So it required that I had 36 charts open in order to make this happen. And so I have 36 instances of the software running. Just makes it very, very clear. So what I do, for example, I'll very quickly run through these charts, and I'll start on this one. So I'll look here and I'll say, what's this pair doing? You can see that this pair is racing north in a real hurry. Then I go down to the smaller time frame and I'll say, what's it doing here? You can see here that it's doing the same thing. We're reacting at a weekly supply that's been tested a few times in the past, which is good. So I know I want to be buying. Then I go down to smaller time frame, once again the entry time frame, and I'll find my entry. You can see on the entry here we have this little nice continuation pattern, so I know that I want to be buying here. Then we have this one here, and this one here, and this one here, but price has already been back to these levels, back to here for this price structure, back to here for this price structure, but price has not been back here. You see there's no wicks poking into this area, so this is completely fresh and lovely, and this is also the big figure. And so I have an order to buy here, and for the time being there's a 1-to-1 on this, and I'll just let it continue higher, and we'll see. So I get filled, then we'll have to see what happens. This is a daily chart, sorry, the 4-hour chart. It's pretty clear on the daily where we have this day stops, we have to pull back, and then price continues. So it's a nice clear area. So I'm just going to keep it like that for the time being, and if this gets filled and if I don't hit my stop, then I'll assess what's going on. And no, I leave it like this because if price comes down, then there's a higher likelihood that I'll hit my target if it gets filled when I'm in my bed. And I don't want the trade to get filled and kind of go up and then go down and stop me out if I'm away from my charts. So what I'll do is typically I'll move my target away from my entry while I can look at the charts, and I'll move it close to the entry while I'm away, just to make sure, unless I have no risk in the trade, which is not the situation here. So that's what I have there. If we have a look at another one, let's look at the dollar yen. If we have a look at this, I mean, what's going on here? Well, you can see that this pair is really moving lower. Price left here, it was out of balance. This imbalance was rebalanced, so now price returned to parity for this move, but you can see now that price is currently at disparity, so we need to fill in this price imbalance. So I know that I want to be selling and move eventually towards this area of demand here. So I go to my smaller time frame and I'll have a look. I want to see the same picture. You can see here that we have this area of demand. Price went up, we rebalanced this, and now price is moving off. So I'm expecting price to react at this demand, come up to this area of daily 4-hour supply. This is actually a daily supply, and then continue lower. So we zoom out, we go back to the daily, which is my entry time frame, and you can see it pretty clear. You can see it very nicely here, how we have price kind of tested this area for a while, we cut through it, so it's like support, resistance, kind of gapped up, then went down, it broke through it, became support, and then price sat on the level, accumulated, and then it cut through, which tells us that we have a very high degree of imbalance within supply and demand at this level here. So I want to be selling there. My entry is just below the accumulation, and my stop is just above, like so. So it's just a really nice clear area. And I have a few other areas in. Let's have a look. Where's the blue ones? Here, I've got a blue one, blue one, blue one. Let's have a look here. You can see that this is the Australian dollar. Our price has been testing this area of demand for a while. Test. On each test, the lows got higher. This tells us that price is looking to continue to move higher. And so price is moving higher, so I want to be buying the Australian dollar, American dollar. So I go to the medium term and have a look. You can see a pretty similar thing being told, where we have this price came down. We haven't come all the way down here. I would have been more comfortable buying if price would have had come down here, but it has not. So this trade is going to be managed a little bit differently. So price came down, we reacted, we touched this area of demand. This is probably daily demand, and then price released. So we want to be buying. Keep in mind with the fact that we are approaching some accumulation here. So you go to the entry time frame, and you can see that we have this just here. So this is that move. Price went higher, it went down. We didn't come down to this area here. We go here, neither we come to this one here, but we are still reacting at this area of parent demand. We had a test, we had a child, and we had a really nice release. How price came down, then left very quickly. So this is a strong indication that there's a lot of buying going on this area. So I just want to keep my eye on there and see if we manage to get some kind of reaction here. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I'm doing it. Let's have a look at one more example with a blue chart, the Euro Kiwi. As you can see here, the price is reacting here. So we had price was disparity, return to parity, disparity, return to parity, and now we have this price imbalance it needs to fill. So we expect price to move lower from here. So we go to, where were we up here? The weekly chart, the medium term. You can see that price is looking pretty heavy. So we managed to cut through this, but we're reacting on these lows here. Let's see where we reacted. You can see just here on this low here, price sold off pretty nicely. So we're looking to sell. We go to the entry time frame, which is here, and you can see that we have this. Looks like it's an hourly area. If we zoom in a little, you can see that price managed to move below this. So we tested, we couldn't move through it. We went down, we came back down, we left, came up, and then we cut away. When price cut away here, we managed to consume this. So this is the area of supply that managed to consume this demand. So on the hourly chart, we have this area here that I think looks okay. Not sure if we'll get there because we have this area of supply here, and we have a little one here, and then we have this one here. So this is the more conservative entry, but I feel more comfortable taking these than these ones in the middle. So the ones in the middle are lower probability, the ones at the tops and the bottoms are the higher probability. So we'll leave that at that, and I want to discuss the software for just a second. I've received a couple of comments regarding the performance of the software, and so I've put significant effort into where's the mouse, to getting this software to perform a lot better. And just for illustrative purposes, I mean, as you can see, I'm running this on 36 instances on my charts. You can see MetaTrader is here. You can see here that it's using 73 megabytes, and it's running at roughly between 5 and 10%, and it rarely goes above that. Yesterday it was up at 230 megabytes, but I leave it on there, and and the performance of the software seems to maintain a pretty stable area. You can see here it's roughly staying around there, kind of sub 1. Where is it? It's all over the place. Sub 100, but I've seen it up to about 230, and there's no real delay at all. You click on the buttons, it's pretty much instantaneous. There's no lag at all. So, and I've made some improvements, but of course there are improvements to be made still. But I think for the time being that performance is going to be good, and I'm also nearing the end of development for this new version of the software. So everything will be web-based, and it'll be based on TradingView charts, and this will be done by the end of July. So I'm expecting a very busy August where we refine things and get everything sorted, and so maybe by the end of August, early September, we'll be ready to roll out this new version of the software. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with TradingView, I just want to show you what the charts are going to look like, because they're pretty interesting charts. So let's see what we can get. Okay, so it's going to look like this, roughly. Let me move these so we get that's going to look like this, more or less. But what we're not going to see is we're not going to see the buying and selling, because there's not going to be any selling from the chart. But we are going to be, it's going to be a charting platform, not a trading platform yet. So the first iteration is about getting the algorithms implemented properly, and the second iteration, perhaps within 6 months after the initial release, then we'll find a liquidity provider so that we can actually execute demands from within the chart, and that'll be pretty exciting, I think. But it looks like this. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with TradingView, but they make these really nice charts, and they allow for organizations and for private people to use this charting library. And so you take the charting library, you hook it up to a liquidity provider, a price feed, which we'll do, and then we're going to have the exact same functionality, but my version of this is going to have incorporated the supply and demand. So here up in indicators, you'll see supply and demand, currency strength, and all of the other ones that we have here kind of towards the top of the list. Also the histogram. So you just click on those, and then everything should work out just fine. But it should be really, really handy, I think. It's a beautiful platform. The price feed is much better than you can get from most, if not all, MT4 brokers, and so it should be a tremendous tool and asset. So I'm looking very much forward to that. That'll be tremendous. But again, that's probably towards the end of the summer, and I'll keep you all posted as to the progress. Okay, let's do a quick top down on a couple of pairs. We'll start with the Australian dollar. Actually, let's take one we haven't looked at. Let's take maybe something I don't have anything on. Okay, so let's look at this, the euro pound. So we're on the monthly chart. You can see that a price has moved up here. We had a price imbalance here. Let's just mark this off roughly, like so. It's gone. Which one took it out? This came close, but this one did it. So price, we should move the rectangles here. And this one is also gone. Which one did it? This one did down here. So for the time being, we have this area of demand that's driving price. Then you ask yourself the question, is price in balance or is it out of balance? And you can see pretty clearly that it's pretty out of balance. And so the area that we want to consider to close this, rather for price to return to parity, is down here at the 78.37 area. Had this nice green area, this nice green bar that left. See the price is feeding up into this supply up here at the top, and so we're expecting price to eventually start to drift down to parity here in order to rebalance price. So if we go back to the weekly chart, we want to look for maybe an area to sell in anticipation that price will rebalance this price imbalance. So we'll go here, the euro pound. Here you can see that price is kind of testing this area of supply for the first time, second time. And if you look a little bit higher, we have this up here. And so ideally you want to be trading at areas where price has returned to parity, and price would have turned to parity once it comes back up here into these boxes, the orange one, the weekly area, or the purple box here. So if we take this information with us down to the smaller time frame, then we can find somewhere we can trade. And if you have a look here, we have big rejection on this monthly supply here. Price rejected, we sold off, we're at this parity, it's rebalanced, this parity rebalanced, and so price is rebalanced all the way up to here, which brings our attention to this daily box just up here, which is located at this area here, so the 9100 area. And as we spoke about last week, we also touched on the fact that, not on the fact, but on the idea, the concept that price often returns to these nice big round numbers. And so we have a really nice area here that we can sell at, and it makes sense selling up here because on the longer time frame, we're reacting to this supply. So we're reacting at supply up here, which is holding price, and we have a price imbalance which is located down here. So we're expecting price to drift low. If we go to the daily chart, let's just mark this area off just so we can see where it is in relation to the big picture. You go back to the monthly, you can see that this brings us pretty high up into this test. And so I think that this would be a really nice area to sell at, around the 9100 area. So we'll keep that in mind. Let's go back to the chart, the 9100. We have it here, and the cool thing about this is that we have some protection for our stop. Okay, there it is. It disappeared on me. So let's see how big this stop would have to be. Let's draw it in. So we have, you can see, let me again make a point here, that you see that when price left, it poked back to this high here. So we can actually go from around roughly to the high of the pullback. That gives us the area that we can consider to trade. So this is a pretty big stop. On this account, it's a pretty small position. We have 132 pip stops, so we could go to the 4-hour chart, and we'll do that to see if we can find a nice tighter entry. So we have our area up there. You can see that we don't really have anything there, but just below you can see that we actually have an area that looks actually pretty interesting, very interesting indeed. So we could remove this one. Let's mark this off. Actually, I'm going to leave that on there because I want that so I can see where we are. So this is the test. So we have this one here as well. We'll move this up here. Let's go to the 1-hour chart, see if we can find out what it is that price is reacting on, because there's certainly something going on there. Let's go back. Okay, there it is. Oops, where'd it go? So here we have it. So we have this area right here, and still we can't really see what it is that price is reacting on, but it's reacting on maybe some kind of micro supply in here. So you could also consider, this one ideally should be going like this, because this is where price came back to. So this is the price level that price came back to, and we formed this pretty nice area of 4-hour supply as a reaction to this. So this is a parent and this is a child for this time frame, and this child looks pretty interesting simply because of the pattern. Price rallied, accumulated, and then rallied. So we price moved up here, we started filling orders, and then price got very heavy and sold off, and we moved away pretty quickly. So I think that this looks pretty interesting. So I think we're going to take a closer look at that. We could have an entry, here, roughly. It's pretty clear on the 4-hour as well. You can see it there. And you can also wait for price to come back up to this area here and take that one there, which is at the 9143 area, 9140 area. And this is supply up here. This is actually reacting to major supply. So we have a reaction up here, and this selling formed these small pools of liquidity on the way down. And so price went up here, and when price started going up, it started feeding into these lower layered pools of bearish liquidity. When they got up into here, it buying stopped and selling started, and this causes this massive rejection. And on the second approach, price had a less dramatic approach back up into this area, because the first test started to consume the liquidity there, so price had a less dramatic approach on the next time. So you can expect price to maybe come up to this area and have an even less dramatic reaction at this area and potentially start drifting lower. Alternatively, you could wait for price to come back up here and then move lower. But if you are taking this, you want your area, sorry, your position to have some kind of a protection, so you could move it up here. And with the other one, so we got to the chart, you can see that that'll give us 165 pip stop, or you could simply wait for the daily area that we looked at earlier. Let me see if I can make it. There we are. So this would give us 9142, just above, and a slightly bigger position. So pretty big stop, but if you go into the small time frames, you'll potentially find something there as well. So just a small idea there. Let's have a look at something else. Maybe the euro. Do we have the euro yen there? we don't. So let's put the euro yen on down here. Got that one. See if I can find my euro yen. There it is, euro yen chart. Right there, and we'll close this. Move this back. Okay, so now we'll have a look at this. Euro yen. What's going on the monthly chart? You can see that prices, we reacted on kind of the highs here, so this here. So price left, came down, we accumulated for 1, 2, 3, 4 months, and then price went up. We came down, we tested this area of demand, and price left, so we moved higher than this. There's something around here that we could consider to have a closer look at, keeping in mind that we have some supply up here. So you want to be buying for the shorter term, keeping in mind that we have supply in the relative vicinity of where we are. You can see while we had a gap, price gapped up from here, and now we're starting to drift lower off here. Let's have a look where we are. I mean, we're reacting here. I really like this one here. We spoke about this before. So like shorts around this area, the 126.46 a while ago, and alternatively have this one here because this is also in the need of rebalancing. You can see when price has already rebalanced this here, and so the next area is the 130.33, which is up here. So ideally, I mean, we're probably going to get a reaction here, but if we get filled down here and have some protection for our stop, then price may very likely drift higher up to this 130-ish area before it continues lower. Because this is nice, efficient trading here. Price goes down, it goes up to the release point, goes down, it goes up. And you can see that price is nice and balanced all the way down. So this is nice trading. This is the last move lower that has still to be rebalanced. You can see price is also currently out of balance now, so you could, in theory, take some shorts now in anticipation that we're going to move down to kind of here and eventually the close down here. So let's consider that scenario for a second. So selling for the time being. Let's go look at the daily chart. And so selling here, I mean, what are we looking at? Well, you can see that price we had this area here. We had this area just here. It was taken, let's mess out. This one was taken out by what? By this one here. There's a lot of these rectangles. Let me get rid of them. Some of these. Okay, so now we have price here. This is a bit of a complicated one. So let's have a look at the small time frame. You can see that it looks like this. I mean, we can take this. We'll take that. So it looks like that. Price has rebalanced this. Okay, so is this a parent or a child? It's actually a child. Where's the parent? The parent is down here. So you have that there. And price is still to come back there. So the 120 kind of 50-ish area, I like that. I like this one. And you can see also that price is still to close this gap. So price will have to come back to the 117.83 to close this gap here. So I mean, for the time being, we have this place here that we consider to take profits out if we find a nice area to sell. So let's find an area at which we can sell. First of all, we have this 4-hour area has been tested once, twice. This is just at the edge, a little bit deeper. So price is managing to move through that. There's no demand here until we get to around here to this child or this parent. And so selling somewhere up here would be pretty interesting. So we go to this chart here. You can see that we have a few areas that look interesting. So this stuff has all been, I mean, price has already been back here. I mean, price has already been back up to here, because this is where this one pokes. And so we have this area, which is still fresh, untested supply. Come on. So we have this one here. and and then we have this price imbalance that also needs to be rebalanced. So this is the first one. It's pretty low down. We probably have currency strength divergence. So if we go like this, you can see that on a smaller time frame. Yeah, you see how we have a low in price, a low, but then we have a low in the histogram and a higher low. So this means that we could certainly start to drift a little bit higher. And we have a few areas that we could consider price to move up to. So we have price reacting here. We are probably going to have a bit of a struggle moving through this area over the shorter term, because this is half an hour supply, so not very important. Then we have this one here and these up here. So for shorting, we could definitely look for areas. Let's go on the hourly chart. We could definitely look here. We go to the 4-hour chart. What do we have? And we have these areas up here. We have this parent here, which is actually right there. And then we have this child at the edge, like so, like that. So we have a couple of areas that we could look at to short. This one's pretty good because, excuse me, when price accumulated, it sold off, we poked up, and then we had a really sharp move away. And so you could combine these areas and remove the bottom one. Just go like this, which would bring our entry to the 124.25 and the stop above the highs there on the parent at the top. You can see just here that there's something going on in the smaller time frame. So if we have a look, you can see, I have to go into an even smaller time frame. I just want to see what it is that's price reacted on. Yeah, we have, it's too small a time frame, it's too messy. Let's stay here. We have this here is pretty much what price is testing. So at the 124.77, tested just below, so price went down, went up, accumulated and sold off on the smaller time frames in this 1 hour supply, and price drifted lower for a while. This is pretty messy area of supply here on this time frame. So we'll remove that. Let's go to the 4 hour, and you can see on the 4 hour that looks just a little bit clearer. And if you consider, for example, how far back prices had to move, let's have a look at the fibs. Yeah, so this will be at least a 50% retracement. 62 is deeply into the child, and the 79 brings it to the top of the parent. If we take this entire swing, we can't do that because we went low there. So if we take from here, you can see that, I mean, the 50% is pretty close to that. So it's greater than 38, which is what I like to see. And so, this looks pretty interesting, maybe somewhere in here. Let's have a look what it looks like on the daily chart. On the daily chart, it just jumps out at you, doesn't it? You can see right there. Boom, no questions asked. So there you have it. You have the 4 hour, 2 4 hour levels sandwiched together on the daily chart. So I think that's probably the better trade. Keep in mind that when price left, let me zoom in. When price left, it came back to see if we can move this so we can see. There we are. You can see the price better. It came back to this level before it released. So we probably have maybe something like that. So the 124 kind of 40-ish area. Go to the 4 hour and have a look. Yeah, that's right at the bottom of this. So I like that. Actually, I like that quite a lot. So if we move our stop a little bit above, maybe up here, I think we can put that on. Let's have a quick look at the calendar. Today we have crude oil inventories. Let's have a look what we have for the rest of the week. So we have tomorrow, it's a Thursday. I think Thursday's the big fireworks day. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff. We have Aussie trade balance, and we have some ECB, which can be a big market move, and we have unemployment claims. So keep that in mind. That's going to affect both the euro and the Japanese yen. But what we could do, we could put this on and set it to expire before the news comes out. So we'll do that quickly. So 0.8 lots. Sell. So we're at the 124.39. 124.75. And stop, we'll leave like that. We want it to expire tomorrow for, when was the news? It was late in the afternoon. Let's have a look. So we have 4 o'clock. So we want to be out by 2. That's my time, which makes it about, we'll just on the safe side, 3 o'clock broker time. So we'll put 15:00. We'll leave it in like that. That's fine. So now we have that one there. I'll leave it here on 1-to-1 until I know what's going on. And then we'll see what happens. So we have that in there. I like that. I like that ledge. Price will often come through this child and poke into the parent before it continues lower. And sorry about that. Some police cars racing past. So we'll leave that there. Let's have a look at what else we have. Move this back. There we are. Let's have a look at the Aussie Japanese Yen. What's this doing? Well, this is nice. We're reacting on this monthly demand once, twice, 3 times. So it's pretty much gone. You can see just below we have this area of demand, which looks pretty interesting. The 70-50 area. Price was out of bounce, rebalance, out of bounce, rebalance, out of bounce, has not rebalanced. That means that we have supply up here that still needs to be rebalanced. And this one is about rebalanced. This one here, price came back to it, but this one is not rebalanced. So expecting the price will potentially move down and rebalance this here. And so selling up here would not be a terribly bad idea. So taking that down to the smaller time frame, so short on the Aussie Japanese Yen. Well, where do you want to sell? Well, we've already missed it, I think. We had this really nice trade here. It's been tested like almost once, twice. So price went down, we poked up. Looks like it's been almost like, looks pretty illiquid on the weekly time frame. And so you don't really want to be selling until you're getting at least up into the higher end of this. So we're just going to take this chart onto the smaller time frame, and you can see it right there. Then it jumps out at you. So we have from the high here. So we'll take that one there. So we actually have, let's take the week one off, put it back on the weekly chart. At the 85.14. So on the weekly chart, let's go back to our entry time frame. We'll put this on there. Good. We go to the 4 hours here. We can see any clearer area. Yeah, we can see it, but it's looking okay there. We can probably go for a little bit of a better entry up here, like around here, just where price releases from. Well, we'll just leave that blue line on there. And yeah, so that's what we have. And this kind of rebalanced this. It came back kind of to the lows, and a deeper retracement to up in here would have been nice, but we didn't get that yet. But I mean, this is also currently still out of balance, as is this one here. It's been tested once. This has been rebalanced. Price came back to the child once, twice. this has been rebalanced more or less. Needs to come up here to close that completely. This is also out of balance, so we do have some valid shorts up here, starting with this one up here and beyond that up here. But we're having currently a pretty nice reaction off this weekly demand. Price is kind of having a tough time moving through it. We're seeing some nice deep stabs, but you've got to keep in mind that if we want to hold these trades for longer, we want to be paying attention to this. So price is probably going to move higher before it continues lower, simply because we have this price imbalance here that moved up into supply. If there was a price imbalance, if price just went straight down here, then we would be buying, or we'd be waiting for price to come down here. But due to the fact that it's reacting on supply here, I just feel more inclined expecting that price is going to have like a bigger retracement. You see here we poked into it, it went down, and so I'm thinking maybe a retracement, which we've had a little bit here, and then a continuation down here before it continues higher. So yeah, so I mean this one could kind of go any way. Look here, and we still have this pretty nice area just here, this weekly area, which starts just here at the bottom. I'm just going to take that daily off because this is not the daily chart. Go to our daily chart, and we can see it just up here. Yeah, so we have a few things going on there. You see price has been back here, but it's not been back here. Price has been up to this level, and this is not like a really nice pull or push away. This is a really nice one here. This is not. This is kind of a more like a slower move. So this is a decent one. We had a nice push, and we tested this supply once, tested the child once, and now this will be the third test of this parent. We anticipate price to come up at the 85.15. I like that one better. I'd feel more comfortable doing that. And also you can see that just here we had some, there's probably a micro area of supply up here. Let's have a look. You see how this was tested and price cut through. Let's go to the hourly chart and see if we can find it. It's the worst with MT4 having to, where is it? There it is. You got the red line. So we have this one here. This is still untested. It's a nice little area. You know what? We have three here. We can just box those all off. We go back to that daily. Yeah, so 66 pip stop, and that'll take us to these three continuation patterns that caused the break of that. Going back, just have a quick look actually. Sorry, I got the hiccups here. Yeah, I mean, this is still untested, and this kind of happened on this area just here. We could probably move it a little bit lower so we get the exact pinpoint, or the bodies here. It looks pretty good, I think. And this one kind of caused the break. And so the lows, you know, I'm just gonna mark the lows so I know exactly where. You know what? Let me go like this. So here's the demand. Which one did it? Well, this one up here, we have some children in here, and we pretty much identified those. There's three of them, but the one that actually caused that was this one here or this one here. So those are the ones that you can look at, and those are going to see some pretty big reactions on the first test, but you're probably not going to want to test them twice. Take them on the second attempt. But this is going to be a good one. There's a pretty tight stop there. So the 85-80 area, that's probably going to see a pretty big initial reaction there. Anyway, see, that's what we've got, I think, for the time being. We've got a lot of stuff in there, so I'm not going to put anything else in there. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for the time being. If you have any questions about the symposium for the day, or have any comments about either software or material that you want us to cover in an upcoming symposium, please let me know, and I'll gladly incorporate your questions into these sessions. Good, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next week.